Ooh, Beyonce's actually clapping back after another artist has accused her of, first of all, being arrogant and sampling their music without their permission. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So I've been watching this story recently. Right Said Fred, you know the guys behind that song, I'm Too Sexy? I'm not going to sing it because God forbid, people are very litigious. I don't want to even sing a lick of it. You know the song, Google Schmoogle it. Anyways, they said in a recent interview that Beyonce did not seek their permission, and they were questioning how much percentage that they were going to get on the sampling of their song, I'm Too Sexy, on her song, Alien Superstar. I completely did not even put the two together, but anyways. So Beyonce's actually responding, but before we get into it, let's get into what Beyonce's responding to. This is what Right Said Fred said in an interview. So they said, normally the artist approaches us, but Beyonce didn't because she is such an arrogant person. Right Said Fred told The Sun that in regards to the alleged theft, they continue, they said, she just had probably thought, come and get me. So we heard about it after the fact when you did. Okay? So they continue, they say they found the supposed song sampling particularly perturbing, as prior artists had reportedly asked for permission to include the track. This is what they said. They said, everyone else, Drake, Taylor Swift, they came to us. Sound familiar? You may recall a couple of months ago, right before Renaissance came out, we did a whole report on Khalees taking to her social media, accusing Pharrell, accusing Beyonce of disrespect for not reaching out to her to let her know that she was going to be sampled on her song. Subsequently, Beyonce decided to remove the sample from the song Energy. The song still licks without it. Anyways, so they continue, Right Said Fred continues. So Drake sampled their song with his song Way Too Sexy, while Swift had employed the song in her 2017 Reputation lead single, Look What You Made Me Do. They said to use our melody, they need our permission, so they send us the demo and we approve it. And if so, we get a co-write credit. This is what they explained. With this Beyonce thing, there are 22 writers. It's ridiculous. So we could get about 40 pounds. 40 pounds meaning the money within the UK. You may recall Diane Warren received backlash from the Beehive for what's this about with 22 writers on a song? And then the internet dragged her. Because, you know, Beyonce has her Beehive. I hear you, Beehive. I hear you. But after I read this story, I went down a whole rabbit hole, and I'll get to that in a second. So the Brit pop star said that they believe that their surreptitious sampling occurs, quote, because there is no little money now in the actual sales. People like friends, golfing partners, engineers, bookers, and the guy who brings you the Coke, they all want a cut, all right? They say either way, the brothers claim that they feel powerless to, quote, stop the former Destiny's Child frontwoman, who reportedly is worth a cool $500 million and boasts 28 Grammys. Good for you, Beyonce. So they continue. They said, there's nothing we can do. It's ish, lamented Right Said Fred. You are going to get into a conversation with someone who has a lot more presence and power and money than we do. And that won't go well. They concluded that it's best to let it go and look toward the future. So here's the thing, and I'm glad that they point this out in this article. They says, ironically, Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy uses a sample of Jimi Hendrix's tune, okay? Which the band didn't realize until much later, whereupon they paid the guitarist's estate for the privilege. They said, I wasn't aware that our guitarist Robbie Malzoni had played the riff from Jimi Hendrix's Third Stone from the Sun on I'm Too Sexy until much later. I thought the guitar part sounds like the theme from Coronation Street, but the Hendrix estate were very cool about it and just asked for a writing credit and a charitable donation. Well, it didn't end there, okay? So usually, and we always said, and we were just saying this about Cardi B, just take advice from Beyonce. Beyonce doesn't get into the muck. Beyonce does her own subtle way of speaking out publicly. Okay, very much like what she did with the whole Khalees situation. And everyone was like, was she shading Khalees by removing it? Or was she showing sisterhood by saying, I didn't know, girl, I'm going to remove it? You could debate about that in the comment section. Well, Beyonce's actually speaking out through her representative in regards to the accusations that Right Said Fred had against her. Because I don't blame her, especially when she breaks it down and says they're lying. She says this in a statement from her rep. The comments made by Right Said Fred stating that Beyonce used I'm Too Sexy in Alien Superstar without permissions are erroneous and incredibly disparaging. Uh-oh. Don't get Beyonce activated. They said permission was not only granted for its use, but they publicly spoke of their gratitude for being on the album. So here's the thing. When I first read this statement, I was like, okay. And I thought maybe it was like a Khalees thing. Right Said Fred wanted her to reach out personally and they wanted to hear the song before. I thought it was something like that. But no, Beyonce's saying, no, we did all the things. So she says through her rep, permission was not only granted for its use, but they publicly spoke of their gratitude for being on the album. For their song, there was no sound recording use, only composition was utilized. Permission was asked of their publisher on May 11th, 2022, my birthday. Okay, it's not about me, okay. And the publisher approved the use on June 15th, 2022. She's just stating facts. They were paid for the usage on August 2022. Furthermore, the copyright percentage of the Right Said Fred writers with respect to the use of I'm Too Sexy is a substantial portion of the composition. Collectively, Right Said Fred writers own more than any other singular writer and co-writer credit. This accusation is false. So Beyonce was not playing with them. And Beyonce, like I said before, rarely speaks out. And when I first saw the Right Said Fred accusations and them calling her arrogant and saying that they used their sample without their permission, I was like, uh-oh, is something new coming from Beyonce? Because usually these stories start coming up when Beyonce's about to drop something new. So already there's rumors that Beyonce's going to have a tour come next summer. Save your coins. Just saying. So I was like, wait, is Act 2 coming? Is Act 2 coming? And then hearing the next day, and I'm glad I sat on this story because the next day, Beyonce's responding. And I have to say this, Beyonce has been accused of so many things in this industry, especially when it comes to stealing style, stealing songwriting, all kinds of accusations in regards to her artistry, which made me go down a rabbit hole yesterday, and that's why I was playing Desiree. Okay, so Desiree sued Beyonce for her use of the song I'm Kissing You. But here's the thing, Beyonce went through all the right passageways for getting that sample. However, Desiree, she's an artist, and she's sensitive about her ish. She told Beyonce, you can't use this in video form. You can use it on your album, you can remake it, but you cannot do a video for it. She's an artist. And they agreed. However, you may recall for that particular album, Beyonce released a whole slew of videos, and she did a video for I'm Kissing You. So Desiree got upset and was like, oh, no, I'm not playing. Desiree doesn't play. So Desiree even sued Janet Jackson at one point and allegedly got $3 million in her settlement. No confirmation on that, allegedly. Desiree doesn't play. She sued Janet for this song, Got Till It's Gone, with Q-Tip. Remember that from the Velvet Rope album? She sued her for that. She sued Beyonce, but Beyonce didn't do what Janet did on that song. She didn't give Desiree credit. And Desiree's like, that sounds very familiar to one of my songs. And then, and I will link, because you know we cite our sources here. I went down a rabbit hole and I saw a YouTube video on Desiree and her life and all. I know you want to see it too, because you're probably like, oh, where is Desiree and what's going on with her? I will cite my sources in the description. So she had sued Janet. She had sued Beyonce, but like I said, it was a different situation because Beyonce had gotten permission to use the song. However, she wasn't supposed to do a video for it. Desiree won that case too. And Beyonce had to pull all that stuff from the shelves. So I went down a rabbit hole about Beyonce and accusations. And then, I went to a whole Desiree situation. Desiree don't play about her mess, okay? With her music. Either way, the fact that Beyonce's responding and she has the receipts and she has the facts, you were told about this on this date, you responded on this date, you were paid on this date. Beyonce don't play. And I was ready, because we don't twerk on the fence when it comes to who can get it. Anyone can get it. So if there were facts to what Right Said Fred was saying, we would give them facts. But no, Beyonce came back with receipts. And she says you guys were even grateful for being on the project. So did you just want us to talk about you and say your name because we haven't said it in decades? You guys, your song has been sampled by so many people. You are filthy rich off this. Maybe you're just not happy with the amount of money you're getting from Beyonce on this sample as opposed to your samples on Drake and Taylor Swift's. Greedy. Guys, I want to know your reaction to this. I'm so glad that I waited for Beyonce's response on this, because normally she wouldn't respond. So normally I would just be like, let me just report on the story. But Beyonce's responding, and she said, lies you tell. As always, guys, let's have that conversation below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.